Honorable Zainab Gimba. I represent Bama Kalabalge. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I stand on Order 8, Rule 4, to move a motion on urgent public importance to look at the disastrous flood disaster at Run in Kalabalge local government in Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I so move. In Borno State is known as the easternmost local government area in Nigeria and is a host for internally displaced persons. Aware that recently, due to heavy rainfalls and the overflow of the Kaali River in Cameroon Republic, Run town was severely flooded, resulting in the destruction of the internally displaced persons camp in Kalabalge. Also aware that the flood submerged more than 4,000 hectares of farmlands and flooded all access roads to Run, leaving all
Honorable Ahmed.
women and children trapped without food, shelter, and other basic necessities of life. Worried that due to the floods, the internally displaced persons have also been rendered homeless and left with relocation challenges as other IDP camps nearby are either overpopulated or suffering from flooding issues as well. Also worried that the displaced persons are in their strays as the situation has left them exposed and vulnerable to attacks and epidemics. Further worried that the people of Kalabalge Run are unable to get adequate help as the road linking it with other parts of Borno State has been destroyed by the floods, making Run town inaccessible by road. Concerned that due to the deplorable state of the link road, Kalabalge has been effectively cut off, thus frustrating humanitarian operations as their trucks are left stranded in remote towns along the way, making them vulnerable to attacks from criminals whose goal is to loot what is meant for the victims. Also concerned that the flood challenge is too much for the Borno State government to handle alone as they have lost resources and millions of naira in trying to rebuild the camps and tackle other flooding challenges. Cognizant that if urgent steps are not taken by the federal government to tackle the flooding in Kalabalge and provide succor to the victims, it could result in massive loss of lives and waste of resources. Resolved to urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Northeast Development Commission to, as a matter of urgency and a temporary measure, provide food, medical services, and other relief materials through air options for victims of the flood disaster in Kalabalge local government area of Borno State. Call on the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development to liaise with humanitarian organizations to ensure coordination of humanitarian activities towards addressing this crisis and as well ensure security of stranded vehicles carrying relief materials for victims, pending when they can be effectively transported to the affected areas. Also call on the federal government to, in the interim, commence construction of a bridge at Foronduma to serve as an access link to transport relief materials safely to Kalabalge in the future. Further call on the federal government to make provisions for temporary and emergency shelters to ensure safety and dignity of the flood victims in Kalabalge area. Also urge the Ecological Fund Office to find a lasting solution to the flood disaster. Mandate the committees on emergency and disaster preparedness and internally displaced persons and refugees to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to the relevant committees of the House.